Okay, remember they're changing my voice. I'm sure you all know that there's a lot of LGBT occult twists of things in society. To understand who someone is, we must first look at sabotage and the LGBT occult twist. So, as I'm hyper masculine in regards to a historic masculine Nigerian hyper masculinity, which is not to be confused by, with what they want you to think of as Nigerian, kind of The Rock, except for with black skin, some kind of effeminate looking guy who just happens to be big. Okay, not to be confused with the way they edit my pictures and they change my voice in my videos. Okay, they add red to my lips. Sometimes they even made my skin pink, but most of the time it's subtle. You can't even tell that they edited it, other than the idea of them having changed. My arguments, my way of thinking, not matching my speech patterns, the sound of my voice, and my look. Okay, because these are Setians who believe in deception. So I'm hyper masculine and hyper romantic. So I need an attractive female, okay, um, who is very feminine, right? Not kind of gender neutral. Santa Cruz, Berkeley, you know, where Oakland went with it. I mean, really, every city, every state, every small town fails in regards to this. So as we look at, it, we say what women are more suited to him. You know what I'm saying? We see the failure has come from um, social norm fanaticism, sexual sadism, corporatism, eugenics, social Darwinism, scientific racism. We see certain philosophies are very instrumental, right? Cultism, right? Groupieism, you know, and they refused to do the right thing. They refused to give me my rightful place. They refused to stop persecuting me. No matter who I reached out to, the FBI, so on and so forth, they wouldn't stop because society is hopelessly overrun by the occult. It's hopelessly overrun by the gender neutral movement, by white supremacy on the right. The government is like a mixture, like an alchemical and chemical mixture of white supremacy, Zionism, Jewish supremacy, token minorityism, LGBT, and feminism, right? It all mixes together, and you see the expressions and the variations and the spectrum that emerges. So as you look at these pictures on the screen, all of them I don't approve of. You see that they're spawned from Set, right? Why are there so many effeminate looking guys, right? Why is everyone pretending like it's always been this way or something? It hasn't. People did not always look effeminate. I remember when this one blood rapper named Red Rum was talking about how people are starting to wear fanny packs. It was like streetgangs.com or some interview with him. He's talking about how they're wearing fanny packs and tight jeans and pocketbooks and so on and so forth, you know. And he says that's some bitch ass shit. But it's not just people who go that far and make it that obvious. The vast majority of the gender neutral movement is a bit more subtle than that, but not that much more, right? There's people wearing tight, effeminate sweats and so on and so forth, but in a way that they're less gay than the gayest person you've seen in your life. There's a spectrum of gay expression, and what we see these days is that nobody is allowed to express themselves in a way that's not on the spectrum of homosexuality, and which is really, the pedo sadism, right? That comes down from the elite, right? They're pedophiles. Why 1 in 4 little girls is sexually molested before the age of 18? Because it is a culture, right? It is from the core of the culture, the governing class. And I'm sure, you see their exact response to these accusations. All they can do is cry conspiracy theory when the statistics show that the governing class has been so slack in their work in regards to addressing rape and child molestation and child sexual abuse that they must be involved, right? So the burden of proof is on them to prove that they're not child molesters, statutory rapists, things of this nature, that they're not promoting that culturally because there's such a large degree of it, right? For example, when we look at Nazi Germany, do you blame, the military by itself, or do you blame the governing class first and foremost, Hitler, Rome, Himmler, okay, Goebbels, propaganda ministry, right? It's coming from their rich, they're powerful, they're governing class. And so it is with the pedophilia and the child molestation we saw historically in Greece and Rome, according to historians. Okay? And so it is with the modern child molestation that we see in society. So what flavor of homosexuality is corporate run homosexuality? It is pedosodism, that trickles down. There's no way around it. To say it doesn't affect you is like saying, that police corruption doesn't affect you, or political corruption doesn't affect you, or inflation doesn't affect you. When you have something that is so intensely propounded from the governing class, that's so pervasive in society, okay, it's going to affect your culture. And if they first and foremost identify as LGBT and white and Jewish, okay, and they interrupt the videos of somebody trying to expose them, just happen to be a car alarm going off, then we must know, that that's the kind of homosexuality there is. And, I think, right there we see, instead of them meeting the burden of proof, we see the constant interruptions of my videos that provoke me to anger, right? I'm trying to stop them from molesting kids and starving, 10,000 children to death every day, around 3 million a year. Okay, starving to death and dying of hunger-related issues, and they just act like some kind of fraternity clowns. When I see them in public, they make some goofy face. They fume me. They honk their horns. They have bumper stickers and license plates that send me messages. I just saw one today, and I think I'm gonna make it I'm gonna put it on the screen. I think that's gonna be the picture. Oh no, I already decided I'm gonna put those other pictures. Okay, there's one that says "too late." Right? It's like, ha 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 ha, too late. We're raping everyone. We're killing everybody. And we're transforming trance, right? A trance-like state induced by music, right? Trance music, but all music, okay? Induced by, the TVs and the surrealism that we see as a result of technology everywhere we go. Think about Vegas isn't the only place with bright lights and surrealism everywhere. It's like every city, and it's in the small towns too, and it's the themes of their shops and so on and so forth, okay? There's no other way to look at it but the failure of society. I'm not like, a sorority guy, fraternity guy, token minority. It's going to sound something like that. I'm probably going to end up sounding, by the time they edit my videos, and by the time they fume me and change my voice in person to some degree, and they change my speech patterns in person, by the time they edit it more in the videos, it'll sound like some Freemason when he's younger or something. But that's bullshit. I despise the Freemasons. Anyone who doesn't know that is a dumbass. I'm 100% against white culture and token minorities, okay? That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm a second generation Nigerian, and I have my own culture that's not really there in Nigeria, okay? It is the martial culture that left Nigeria, that is from God, that the Igbos had a part of it, okay? They have the main part of it, but no known Igbo is someone we can point to and say that guy it really expressed, the Christ martial art culture, okay? They really can't say that, right? It's anybody who's like that isn't known. Okay, it's obscured in my family line and stuff like this, So it's not something that you can point to in any region like that. You see what I'm saying? But it's something I've proven with logic, right? Kuro Obi black belt. Obi means King Heart Hut Essence Center Temple Core in Igbo. Obi is a belt, which is a sign of rank. Okay, king, right? Compare a king to somebody who's a 10th degree black belt or something. The king is above that. So king martial art, king of the Igbos, the toughest race, is above, all the martial art masters who aren't kings put together. You see what I'm saying? If you don't know that, what the hell do you know? You see what I'm saying? That's why Christ is called the King of Kings, okay? And there's, America has the most martial arts schools in the world, as the story goes. But none of these guys can truly say they're the king of martial arts. Only I can. Okay, if they said it, it's laughable. They may as well be Pee Wee Herman. It's like, what they're doing is like, Pee Wee Herman mocking, Michael Jordan, and doing a blackface thing and getting a bunch of frats and sororities and gang members and different undesirable people in society to kind of harass them and say, ooh, no one believes you. No. We believe Michael Jordan is better than Pee Wee Herman. We believe the Nigerian King of Kings is God's son. We don't believe you. We don't believe your false image of Christ. We don't believe Donald Trump. We don't believe George Bush. We don't believe Joe Biden. Okay? We don't believe fucking Noam Chomsky. We don't believe your Harvard professors. We don't believe you. We believe the guy who's from the royal family of Martin Luther King's tribe, but we don't believe you people, and you're making a fool of yourselves. Just like Pee Wee Herman, if he was mocking Michael Jordan, pretending he's a basketball legend instead, right? We don't believe you people, but they believe me. Just because they're too scared to publicly take a stand for it, because they weren't raised right, doesn't mean they don't believe me. They do believe me. And they see me in public, they believe me. They believe you people leverage technology, gotten gains in your networks, your social clubs, your gentlemen's clubs, your corporate groups, your political groups, your government groups, law enforcement, military. They believe you leverage those things like a nepotistic favoritism, narcissism, little ninnies. They don't believe you, I assure you, and they believe me. Thank you. Okay, with all that being said, I want you all to notice that, by cheating me, they forced the argument of you know, the toughest race argument. You see what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm not racist. I'm biracial. Okay, you know, in the sense that argument doesn't work in my favor. In the sense it does, because I'm part white. I'm not all Nigerian. You see what I'm saying? But by cheating me to such a degree and trying to pretend that I'm crazy and suppressing my videos and persecuting me and targeting me, they forced me to say, hey, let's go back to the obvious facts here we all know that are uncomfortable to discuss. They may be uncomfortable to discuss, but they're going to do the trick. And let's say, okay, what characteristics do I have that make it clear that I'm the top martial artist? One, I tell the truth, right? The way, the truth, and the life. If they're not telling the truth, they're not in the running, right? They're just a liar. A liar doesn't have character, and they're not the top martial artist. If you've made lies in your past, you got to correct them. You know, I've made little mistakes like that. I corrected them, all of them, in my videos, okay? You know, and otherwise. And I've corrected them for years and years and years now, okay? And they were understandable mistakes. So we see that. Then we see the Nigerian, right? Who picks? No one picks figs from thorn bushes and grapes from thistles. So what tree do we expect the top martial arts line to be from? From Nigerian, right? It's going to be African. It was going to be Somalian, Ethiopian, Eritrean. No. South African, almost, but no. Cameroon, not enough of them. Ivory Coast, not enough of them, not that tough. You know what I'm saying? We go through the list, right? Togo, right? You know, Morocco, you know, we can rule them all out. Egypt, so on and so forth, right? Nigerians are the bill that rings the loudest, right? Tougher than Nigerian hair, tougher than some Nigerian people, kind of thing, right? As the saying goes, you know, blacker than black, blue black, right? If black people are the most athletic and greatest warrior race, then the people who are blacker than black, they're blue black, are the bill that rings the loudest, okay? And we look at the Nigerian Civil War, they all teamed up on the Igbos, and the Igbos are the most righteous people, right? Martin Luther King is more Igbo-like than Hausa or Fulani or Ibibo or Ija or any other group there. And we got to look toward the big three tribes first, the Igbo, the Hausa, and the Yoruba. Okay, and it becomes very clear, especially if you're a Christian, you're going to say, well, the Igbo is the most Christian of the three, right? Yoruba is kind of split in half with Muslims and Christians, and then there's pagans, and then Hausas are, you know, Muslims and pagans, and hardly any Christians, and the Igbos are almost all Christians, okay? So why did that resonate with them, right? What is it? What does a Christian black person have, right? What's the difference between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, right? The top martial arts is going to have more Martin Luther King grace than Malcolm X kind of anger and kind of, you know, propaganda speech. You know, Malcolm X was a very interesting man who went beyond a whole lot of people, but he didn't reach past the pinnacle of black Christian soul brother expression. You see what I'm saying? The grace that we would see somewhat in Ethiopians, we see a lot in Igbos, we see a lot in some of these black people from the South, for example, African Americans. We see to some degree in Jamaicans, and this kind of Christian grace goes beyond the Muslim, with all due respect. And that's when I was younger, when I was really angry at Muslims. I felt like they knew this, and that they were playing stupid out of just hate, out of just tribalism. You know what I'm saying? And then there was the Nigerian Civil War and so on and so forth. But, you know, again, you know, there's a lot of Muslims out there are nice people, very disciplined. There's some things they do better than Christians. They pray 5 times a day, you know, and they're more disciplined in some ways and so on and so forth. But when we're talking about the top martial arts, grace is a key part of it, right? A graceful execution, you know, and don't let how they edit my videos confuse you, or how they covertly drugged me. My challenge is the bottom line, okay? You can do a bunch of flips. You know, we're not talking about Olympic high jump swimming, you know, whatever it is, Olympic diving here. We're talking about a martial art, masterful, tactical, strategic, and graceful where it applies, right? It doesn't need to be the essence of graceful, but it has to have a significant amount of grace. It's a result from having heart and character and so on and so forth.